Our actual case history tonight concerns the field of orthopedics. The object in point, a book of poems. The case in point, Jenny Falgren. She's 12 years old, in good general health, and happy as only a child on summer vacation can be. She has no idea that this will be the most important year of her life.
Honey, I'm home.
You're early.
Yeah. Peeler broke down. Too late to fix it till tomorrow.
Better now than later in the season. Fruit any good yet?
Fine. Feature's a little green yet. I'll bet you I've eaten a dozen of these things, though. I brought you and Jenny a taste.
They look good. I just put dinner in the oven. It'll be ready in about an hour.
I'm not hungry anyway. Besides, it's cooler out here. Well, where's my girl?
Upstairs in her room, reading as usual.
More poetry.
And what else?
Hi, Pumpkin.
Hi, Dad. What you doing home early?
Peeler broke down. Oh, come on, give me my kiss. Oh, oh, my little bookworm. Hey, you haven't been reading lying down, have you?
At my desk.
Ah, that's good. You know, it's bad for your eyes to read lying down. You hold the book too close.
I know. You told me a dozen times.
I brought you something.
Oh, boy. Thanks.
Not till after dinner. We're going to eat in an hour. You'll spoil your dinner. I'll set the table.
Can I go over to Dick's and play till dinner?
All right, but don't get any farther away.
Dick and I decided to get married.
Oh? Right away?
Of course not, when we grow up.
Oh, can he afford to support you?
Sure. He's going to be a pilot, and I'm going to be a stewardess.
Okay, then I approve. Can I be best man?
No, silly. You have to give me away. Haven't you ever seen a wedding?
Only my own, honey. And believe me, I was a very nervous man.
Oh, you're always fooling.
By the way, what does your mother think of your engagement?
I told her already. She says it's fine if I can stand my mother-in-law.
Jenny.
You better be careful what you say in front of her. You know, she doesn't forget a thing.
She's growing up so fast lately.
Yeah.
I caught her putting on my lipstick the other day.
What'd you do?
Nothing. There's no harm in it. But it did give me quite a shock when I looked at her.
I bet she looked like a clown at that, huh?
Oh, she didn't. She looked like a young lady. Now she's talking about getting married.
Did I ever tell you about the time I was 12 years old and I was going to marry Flora Biesgartner and go be a fireman in Frankfort, Indiana?
I know it's only kid stuff, but one day you watch them playing it growing up. And you turn away for what seems only a second. You look back and they're grown suddenly.
Honey, what are you worrying about? She's got years to think about marrying Dick, or anybody else for that matter.
If she ever marries,
What do you mean?
who will it be? Who'll marry a girl with a club foot?
Oh, now, Grace, we've been through this 100 times.
We haven't been through it. We've talked about it 100 times. But there's always been something off in the dim future. A problem we'd have to face one day. Now it's here. Jenny's no longer a kid with a limp. She's a young lady with an ugly deformity. We can't go on putting it off, Henry. You can't pretend you haven't been worried about it. I've seen it.
But she seems like such a baby to me yet.
Only because you want her to. So do I. We can't fool ourselves much longer. We've got to do something.
Like what?
Something we should have done long before this.
Okay. She's seems so happy now, right in the middle of vacation. Can't we put it off a little while longer?
Till she really wants to get married. There'll be dates, real dates, sooner than you think. And then the real humiliation begins. One hurt after another. How much of that do you think she'll take before she really begins to hate us?
Okay. You know, we asked you to come out here because we didn't want to hurt her, unless there's a real reason. Won't you sit down?
Thanks.
Unless, of course, if you can really help her.
I wish we could have done this 4 years ago. Remember when you first moved into town, I said...
I know what you said, Doctor. We don't want to be reminded. We did what we did because we thought it was best for her. The question is, what can you do for her now?
I'll tell you what I want you to do. Take her to a specialist, a Dr. Keller in the city. I've worked with him before.
What can he do?
That's for Dr. Keller to say after he's made a thorough examination. Maybe he'll want her to wear braces. Could mean an operation.
But do you think he can help her?
Yes, I think that...
Hey, hang on just a minute, Pumpkin. Jenny, you remember Dr. Baird, don't you?
Uh-huh. When I had an infection, he lanced my ear. That hurt.
I'm sorry to leave a bad impression on you, Jenny. You're a good patient.
We've been talking about you, honey. How would you like to make a trip to the city? See about your foot.
What for?
To change it. To make it like your other one.
What would they do to it?
Oh, perhaps give you a brace, maybe a little operation?
It hurt.
Oh, not so much.
I don't want to go to the hospital or wear an old brace. This is summer vacation.
Hey, girl. Don't you want your foot to be just like everybody else's, Pumpkin?
No, I don't mind it. Lord Byron had a clubfoot and he swum the Hellespont.
You don't mind?
Do you like Lord Byron, Jenny?
He's my favorite, especially the one that goes, Maid of Athens, ere we part, give. Oh, give me back my heart.
That's very pretty. Do you know this one? She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies and all that's best.
She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies. Isn't that beautiful?
It's okay.
I've decided where we're going to live after we get married.
Oh?
Right here in Oakville. What's wrong with that?
I can't be a pilot here. We'll have to go someplace where they've got a big airport, where the mainliners land.
Did you tell your folks that we decided to get married? I told mine. They said that was fine. Did you tell yours?
Yeah. Who was that guy that was here today?
Dr. Baird. What did your parents say?
Who's Dr. Baird?
Just the doctor. He wants me to go to the city about my foot.
You gonna do it?
I don't think so. It's okay. Besides, it'd hurt.
Maybe you oughta.
Why?
When I told my folks that we were gonna get married, they laughed.
Did you tell them we didn't mean now?
Sure. I told them that I was gonna be a pilot and that you were gonna be a stewardess.
Well,
They said they never saw a stewardess with a clubbed foot.
Dr. Baird gave me this. It's a book of poems by everybody.
Dr. Baird's a pretty nice guy.
Do you have a favorite poem?
No, I guess I've always been too busy reading other kinds of books. Okay, Jenny, you wait in the outer office with Miss Nelson for a while.
It's all right. You can talk in front of me.
I'm sure we can, but I think you'll find your poetry books more interesting.
Run along, Jenny. We won't be long.
Okay.
first of all, let me say that we can help her. But it would have been much easier if we had seen her years ago. Why didn't you take her to someone when she was a baby?
Well, until she was 6, we lived in the Midwest on a little farm, way out in the country. We hardly ever saw a doctor.
When did you first notice her foot?
When she first started to walk, really. I mean, it always turned in, but all babies' feet are turned in. She limped as soon as she started to walk. But her grandmother, my mother that is, said it was nothing, and that she'd outgrow it.
Mrs. Falgren, that one phrase has caused an awful lot of pain and suffering. They'll grow out of it. I don't know how many times doctors hear that. You can never grow out of a deformity. It just becomes harder and harder to correct.
I suppose we did wrong. But by the time we could see it wasn't getting any better, we were all accustomed to the idea. We just accepted the situation. Jenny never seemed hampered. She moved about as quickly as anyone, and she was happy. People in the country are used to things like that. Everyone just said she had a club foot and let it go at that. We didn't even know we could do something about it.
Mrs. Falgren, I wish we could make everyone in this country understand what I'm about to tell you. Because what you call clubfoot is a very common condition. It's just a lay term for any foot deformity. Some turn out, some turn in. With some, the bone structure is shortened and so on. Many of these cases are very mild, hardly noticeable. But they can all be corrected, and almost always without surgery if the baby is taken in time, before the child's a year old.
A year old?
Yes, that's right. The earlier the better. You see the bones in the foot here? Now, while they're still soft and pliable, they can be wedged into a normal shape quite easily with braces and special shoes. But the older the child gets, the more solidly the bone sets, and the more difficult and expensive it becomes to make any improvement.
But you said you could help Jenny. Is she too old for braces?
You say she's 12 years old.
That's right. Be 13 this December.
I don't think the braces will do the job. We can try if you like. But at this age, it becomes a very long and difficult process without any assurance of success.
How long?
Years. Now, in her case, I think the operation would be better, both quicker and more certain. Is she greatly afraid of the idea of surgery?
Not nearly so much as I am. What kind of operation do you do for clubfoot?
Well, there again, it's a question of the foot, the individual case. Sometimes it's just a matter of cutting a tendon that's too short.
And in Jenny's case?
In Jenny's case, the operation is called an arthrodesis, a fusion of the bones into a normal position.
Is it very expensive?
Not terribly, considering the amount of good it accomplishes. I will tell you this, however. It will cost a great deal more to correct the condition now than it would have when she was a baby.
I'll have to talk to my husband. He couldn't get away from work, so he couldn't come with me.
Yes, you do that.
What are the chances of it being a success, the operation?
Excellent.
Will it hurt? Will it cause much pain?
Well, during the operation, she won't feel a thing. There'll be a certain amount of soreness afterwards until the healing is well started.
We've always hated to hurt her in any way.
Believe me, this won't hurt half as much as spending just one evening on the sidelines at a high school dance.
Hey, you said you wouldn't take long.
Come on in, honey. We're all through. Dr. Keller says your foot can be fixed as good as new. But you'll need an operation.
Now? In summer vacation?
I'm afraid so.
Dick says you're not missing a thing. The filtering plant broke down and they had to close the swimming pool for a while.
And Marlene says not to worry about your goldfish. She feeds them every day. I think she feeds them 3 times a day. They're getting as fat as little whales.
Don't worry.
We're not worried, darling. There's nothing to worry about.
You know, Dr. Keller's funny. I taught him my poem by Lord Byron, so he learned one and taught it to me. Do you want to hear it?
Sure, Pumpkin.
Timothy Fry could fly without wings, but he went around knocking down chimneys with things. He lived in a belfry with a number of bats. As they hung upside down, they could never wear hats. Timothy Fry could fly without wings.
The operations. A special tourniquet is employed to arrest all bleeding during the course of the operation. Blood is expressed from the leg itself by wrapping it tightly in a rubber bandage before the tourniquet is applied. The surgeon must use extraordinary care in order to avoid dividing the vital nerves and tendons which traverse this particular area of the foot. Various ligaments, cartilage, and the fatty tissues are removed with the aid of a curette, a sharp spoon-shaped cutting instrument. This exposes the bone for cutting with an osteotone in order to reshape the foot and correct the basic deformity. This in turn allows the foot to be brought into its normal weight-bearing position. In order to hasten the fusion of the bones by growth of new bone across the denuded joint surfaces, a peg of cortical bone is removed from the tibia by an electric saw. The peg is inserted across the joint space to reinforce the fusion and stabilize the bones. A plaster cast is applied from the toes to the thigh to maintain fixation of the fragments of bone until healing takes place and the reshaped bones have formed a solid union.
Firefly could fly without wings.
Jenny, it worked fine. The operation was fine.
Dr. Keller says your foot's going to be just like normal, Pumpkin.
Thank you, Timothy.
I'll bet it didn't hurt as much as when I fell off the horse and broke my arm.
Maybe not. I didn't feel anything when they did it. They just told me to start counting, and I never even got to 4. I just felt all dreamy.
That hurt?
Wouldn't hurt if you did it 10 times that hard.
How long are you going to wear it?
3 months.
Gee, you get to go back to school in it.
Maybe it'll be 4 months. I go see Dr. Keller in 3 months, and he'll take x-rays to see whether to take it off then.
And your foot's going to be just like anybody's?
Uh-huh. My leg won't, though. Not for quite a while, anyway. 'Cause the muscles haven't developed. But it's just got to be ready by Halloween.
Why?
'Cause you're going to take me to the party at school.
Oh, sure.
You thought of your costume yet?
Why? It's still 4 months away.
We have to plan for the future, Dick.
Oh. Well, I guess I'll be a pilot.
That isn't Halloweeny at all.
It doesn't matter. And you can be a stewardess.
I don't know if I want to be a stewardess anymore.
You mean not ever?
I think maybe I'm going to be a dancing teacher.
But what about me?
What about you? Why don't you be a dancing teacher, too?
Dancing teacher? Nah. You can be what you want, but I'm going to be a pilot.
Well, I guess you can be what you want to.
Well, so long, Jimmy.
You going?
Yeah.
But I thought you were going to stay for the afternoon.
Well, I got some things to do. And think about. Well, brought your present.
Me? What is it, Dick?
Just something. Well, so long.
So long.
Hey, that's a real good one, isn't it?
Why doesn't she hurry up?
Girls are always late, Dick. You'll have to get used to it.
You've got lots of time. I can drive you there in 5 minutes. What time's the party over?
10 o'clock.
If you're going to be late, you call me, you hear? I don't want to have to sit in the car for a half hour.
Okay.
Where have you been keeping yourself, Dick? We haven't seen much of you the past 3 weeks.
I've been taking dancing lessons.
You been? Do you like it?
It's all right. Boy, do you look funny in those shoes.
I know. I just wore them down to show off.
Well, let's get going.
You look pretty, Pumpkin.
Thanks, Dad.
You kids run out and get in the car. And then we'd get in the coat. You know, it won't be long before she doesn't look funny in these things. Hey, what's that Lord Byron thing she's always spouting?
She walks in beauty.
Yeah.